do what I just showed you and roll your shoulder. You could make this about the size of a grapefruit, a big circle on that page. Just remember, you got long ears coming up like this on the sides. Okay? There we go. I've gone around about 7 or 8 times. Some of my lines are pretty messy. Some look pretty good. This next part is a little tricky for little kids. Moms and dads, be there if they need it. We're going to put a guideline straight through the middle from top to bottom. So as straight as you can get it, right through the middle of that circle. Make a nice line, just like that. We're going to put another guideline going across, but this one is not going to go right through the middle. It's going to go about that far from the bottom, actually. So take a look at that and go up about that high. I'd say that's a little less than a quarter of the way up. You know, if you brought a ruler, you can figure it out. But you don't need to. This is rough sketching, for goodness sakes. Now that we've got that in place, let's go ahead and draw in his cheeks, right? Because he doesn't have a perfectly round head. And so I'll start here on the side of my circle, and I'll just bring it down with a little outward curve coming to that guideline going across, and I'll do the same thing over here. This is going to make him a little more cheeky. He's quite cheeky. Grabbing onto that now, I'm going to go to the bottom of my circle, just over like this. And this is going to give him more of a natural animal-like shaped head. See? It's all coming together. Now that's his face, that's his head. But of course he has those supersonic ears. Now to get the shape of those just in place, basically we're going to put 2 taco shells on the side of his head here. I'm going to go, I can still see my circle there, and about halfway up will be right about here in my original circle. I'm going to go up from here, up and out, at an angle like that. Now I'm about that high over my original circle shape there. And I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. Yep, that looks pretty even Steven. Grabbing onto the end of this one, I'm going to bring it down with a nice curve just underneath that crossing guideline there. So out and down and over. So now I'm just underneath where that other guideline crossed. That looks pretty good. Let's do that over here too. Whoa. There we go. Okay, this is the basic construction of old 626. Let's start with his nose. Let's get into the details now. So, sitting on this line right here, right in the middle of things, I'm going to very lightly draw a big circle here for his nose. Okay? There we go, kind of a clowny nose. Now, as I lock it in or darken it in, I'll refine it, I'll push harder on my pencil, and I'll give it actually just a wee bit of a triangular shape. So this is the very curved top of my triangle. And then here, the sides. And it's going to come down just a tiny bit underneath that guideline. There we go. See, so it has, it's not just a big clown nose. It actually has a distinctive shape to it. Okay. He likes to lick his nostrils. Yuck. I'm going to go ahead and give him the opportunity at least. I'm going to draw his nostrils in by just adding 2 little curves down here on either side of that center guideline at the bottom. Like that. I'll shade those in. And we'll give him some snout lines. Now, snout lines are just simple lines right above a character's nose that show that their nose is coming towards us. So, one little rainbow. And an even littler rainbow just above that one. Just like that. That'll do. Next up, we're going to draw his character mask. A character mask is an area that surrounds a character's eyes. It is a different color from the rest of their face. Mickey Mouse has a character mask, and Stitch does too. He has a lighter blue surrounding his eyes. So I can still see my original circle here, and that crossing guideline. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of define this and bring it up to the side of his nose like this on both sides, with the bottom part of that character mask. Now the top part's going to go up to about this point, and then do a U-turn and come down behind his nose just a little bit there. So that is the character mask surrounding this side, and I will go ahead now and define that. Lock that on in. And as I do, I'll tell you a little bit about this movie that came out so many years ago now. I mean, it's like been 22 years since this was released in theaters, and it just gets more and more popular, it seems like, every year. People see this movie and fall in love with it, and the kids fall in love with it, and the kids' fall in love with it, and everybody is coming in here wearing Stitch t-shirts, and yeah, and it just never ends. It just never ends. And so I always know when I got the opportunity, I better bring this guy out because people want it. They want to draw this guy. And why not? He's a fun character created by quite a genius. I gotta tell you, Chris Sanders, the guy that created Lilo and Stitch, he worked for the Disney company for a while. And this was his brainchild. He came up with the idea, the story. He even was the voice of Stitch. But after a while, he moved on and went to work for DreamWorks, where he produced a series of films called How to Train Your Dragon. So yeah, he's got some definite awards on his shelf for directing these wonderful films. And in fact, he just came out with a new one I have not yet seen, but everybody I know, in fact, Darren over there, told me it's the best movie he's seen all year. It's called The Wild Robot.
Oh, God.
There you go. Chris Sanders, why did we let him go? Anyway, it wasn't my idea. I would have kept him. All right, let's go ahead and get his eyeballs in there. Right now, they're down here off to the side of his nose. I'm going to put a big circle on both sides. I like to give them just a little point on, next to the nose, so it makes it look a little more animal-like. I lock them in like this. That's right. Chris actually was the voice of Stitch too. In fact, a couple years ago, for the anniversary, McDonald's was giving away Stitch toys with Happy Meals, and he was running around making videos because he would go to the drive-thru and start asking for them in Stitch's voice. Yeah, what a jokester, eh? All right. Now, I'm going to darken those in, but before I do, I want to put a little mischievous glimmer in his eye. So at the top of each, I'm going to draw a little circle, and then I'm going to darken in around that circle, like this. Really pushing hard on my pencil, too. You always want the eyes to stand out, so make them really nice and dark. There you go. See how you're kind of getting it, right? Of course, Chris Sanders is not the only wonderful voice in this film. A hero of mine and a hero of a lot of people at the Disney Animation Studios, a man named David Ogden Stiers, who is no longer with us, God bless him. But for a long time, when I was growing up, he was on a TV show called MASH. And he played Dr. Charles Winchester III, a very snooty doctor on that show. But when a few years ago, when Disney was making a movie called Beauty and the Beast, perhaps you've heard of it, they needed somebody to do a snooty voice for a little clock named Codsworth, and they called on David, and he did a great job. So great that they said, hey, we're making a new movie called Pocahontas. How'd you like to play the evil Governor Ratcliffe in that movie? So he came back and he did that. Then he was the Archdeacon in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he was Mr. Harcourt in Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Like I said, he's no longer with us, but he loved Disney, and Disney loved him. Let's go ahead. Did you see that? I gave him some brows, just by putting a simple curve over each of those character masks. Now, he's got a rascally little tuft of hair on top of his head. I noticed we do this with Donald Duck, too. I think if you're a rascally character, you get this little hairdo. That's why I'm not very rascally, because I don't have any hairdo on my head. Keep out of trouble. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and, yeah, just little sharp things going up there. Okay, his impish grin. Okay, I can still see my original circle hiding under his eyes right here, and I'm going to kind of use that line right there and right there under his eyes. I'm going to put these little rainbows on top of these, and then bring that smile just straight across from one side of the road to the other, just like that. There we go. It's the Mona Lisa smile. You know that kind of a smile where you're smiling and you're going, I don't know what he's smiling about, but in Stitch's case, you should probably be worried. Up to some mischief. There we go. Let's lock in the bottom of his face, and then we'll work on those supersonic ears that Dr. Jakiba gave to this guy. Now here's it now. Okay, hope you're all there, because I'm going to show you my methodology for drawing Stitch's ears. See this straight line right here, goes from here to here? I'm going to find the halfway point. It's right about there, and halfway, right about there. Now, I'm going to start out just off to the side of his smile here. So right about here, I'm going to curve in until I get to that halfway point. Just like that. And then I'm going to curve out until I get to the top. Just like that. So I got a big outstretched letter S here. Now, it's got a little fold on the back side of his ear. And this line right here, I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a curve, and that'll suffice for that fold. Now, something out there in the galaxy took a piece out of his ear. So in the lower part of this ear, I'm going to put this little pizza slice of a wedge and bring this down till I get to that wedge. Just like that. And then I'm going to pick it up underneath it and bring it to his cheek. Since he's got a fold on the back side, I'll put just a little one down here at the front at the bottom. And we're going to jump over here and do the same thing backwards. Okay, so we started out right about here, and we went halfway up, inward, and then outward to the top, backwards letter S now. I'm going to lock this in, and then darken in that little line behind. And now this one's missing a piece of ear too, but this one's up higher, it's up here. Bring that on down, draw in that wedge. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and bring this down, lock this on in, and then we'll get that little fold at the bottom of his ear just by adding that little curve right down there. There he is. There he is. That's the guy that took my wallet. I'm going to go ahead and sign this right over here. I saw him, officer. He was small and blue.